Are you trying to do what Mummy does?
Keeping yarn.
It looks like she's trying to mimic my hand gestures when I'm working with yarn.
It's all done! Apparently I'm supposed to block this. I don't have nearly enough space to block it, so I'm going to wing it. This side is kind of a very sort of coarse feeling, well not very, but it's coarser than this side where everything is a bit more silky and soft. So I'm wondering, well, I'm hoping that this doesn't stretch completely more than the other side, as the way it's going to work next is coming in like this. Actually, I don't know how it's going to work. Maybe, I don't know, I need to read the instructions. Gotta love it when I do a whole thing and then I realise I'm not actually recording. So I'm taking a pause on my cardigan project because I have found out that a friend of mine who also had a baby not too long ago is visiting the country. Originally I was going to mail out a plushie for her, but since she's going to be here, I'm going to try and get it done for her and give it to her in person to take back for her daughter. Now I made this goat Alebrije, oh I can't pronounce that, I'm really sorry, by Make Me Raw. This was my final result. It's kind of loosely based off the disco version, and I bought this as a kit at a craft fair. Make Me Raw do such amazing patterns that are inspired by sort of Mexican motifs and creatures, and she sold these amazing packs that has all the yarn you need in the Rikigurumi branded yarn, so it's a little teeny tiny balls, but she also sold glow-in-the-dark yarn. So this guy's horns, basically anywhere you see white, so his eyes, his horns and his little legs, they all glow in the dark, and it's actually quite a good glow once you leave it in the sun. When I was at her stall, I fell in love with this pattern. So this is the Fox version. I didn't buy the bundle, I just bought the pattern. And I love foxes anyway, so I'm probably going to make a giant one for myself at some point. But for now, I am going to make this one for my friend's daughter. Now, I don't have these colours. So ask for teal, orange and yellow, and there's a lots of other tidbits of colours that go in to do the surface embroidery and other bobbles and stuff that are going on in here. I don't have all of these colours available, however I raided my stash and I wanted to make a similar size, so it's sort of the same size as this guy, otherwise she won't be able to get it back. I've put aside from my stash in a conveniently made ready to go gift bag and tissue paper. We have purple, pink and yellow, and I think these colors will go quite well together. And on top of that, I do have some other colors left over from the set from the goat, so I've got a little bit of the teal, a little bit of the pink, and another sort of pinky color and the blue, and I think that these will all go really nicely together. And I have a scrap from another type of yarn for a green, just for something a bit different. And finally I have the glow-in-the-dark white, so I can make the eyes glow in the dark on this one as well, similar to what I did with the goat. And I was thinking maybe I can make the little bobble stitches and maybe some details on the ears and stuff, so I can kind of change up the pattern provided I pay attention to what I'm doing and get some glow in the dark stuff as well. The catch, she's only here for a week and I don't know when I'm going to see her, so I'm going to try and see if I can make this in one day. It is nearly 11:15 at night, if you couldn't tell. I didn't finish it. I'm so close though. I have a body which at the moment just looks like a mole. It's a Mexican mole. I have some ears. I have back legs and one of the little back dimples done, or the back leg dimples done. So it's gonna be like this, and I've got to do the same thing on the other side. As you can see, I've got most of it done, I just haven't done the bit around the outside. So if we use some imagination, I'm this far. I am going to bed now. She's arriving tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. I have cleaning to do as well. I haven't cleaned the house. And I need to, at minimum, vacuum because it's disgusting. I still have the eyes and the tail to do. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it done unless I wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Which doesn't really happen. I think I could have got it done today, but the baby was so very clingy. To the point that even when we were doing her evening feed, she was crying and crying and crying, even though my husband was holding her, but she just wanted me, which is nice. However, I have a backup plan. If I don't get it done tomorrow morning, which I might just kind of chill and relax as much as I can, my friend has to go back to where she's staying in the afternoon, but then we're meeting up again on Thursday. So I might have Wednesday afternoon to finish this, and obviously then I'll definitely have time, and maybe have time to make a little card as well, but that's pushing it. So my priority tomorrow morning will be cleaning up the house so the house is presentable, hiding evidence of what I'm working on, and then hopefully I won't be too knackered to continue and finish it in the evening or afternoon tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Wow, I can't cross my fingers. Oh yeah, fingers crossed. It is Thursday morning. How far did I get? Isn't he cute? Oh my god. I finished this last night. It didn't come out entirely how I had planned, which I'll explain in a minute. However, seeing this little guy in the daytime, oh my god, he's so much fun. And here's the other one, just to give a comparison. So there is a little bit that I didn't do. There is, see on this one, there's like little stitching all the way around. That was supposed to be around here as well to kind of give like a chest fluff. But I decided not to do that because the tail is quite busy. So I'm hoping that'll be okay. There was supposed to be some French knots on the tail, but for the life of me, I could not do French knots. And also these were supposed to be zigzags, but for some reason I couldn't do zigzags, so they're just a random, like almost like a scoring pattern. I am so pleased with how he turned out. Like, the colors are great. I really love how the colors came out. So, and just a reminder as well that the white stuff also glows in the dark. I tried to see if I could get them to glow in the dark last night. However, it wasn't out in the sun long enough to do anything. So maybe I'll find a dark cupboard. So once again, these patterns are by Make Me Raw. They do amazing patterns. You can buy them in like little booklets like this, and it has everything you need to know, the stitches that you need to use, and they use a combination of crochet and embroidery on the front just to kind of get the details. So she does break down all the stitches that you're going to need. It is a complex patterns, so I would recommend them for sort of an established beginner. So if you're brand new, maybe start with making a ball first. However, if you're feeling pretty confident with most amigurumi and toy patterns, give it a go, because this will really level up your skill set. And also make your brain work for things like how to make colours work together as well. So I love that I can make his tail wiggle, look. History time! So these patterns are inspired by a guy called Pedro Linares. And if you're familiar with any kind of Mexican folk art type stuff, when they do things like Easter and stuff, which is really handy since Easter's just around the corner when I'm making these, they'll have these big animals. They're all kind of fantastical and colourful, made out of wood or card or whatever, parading around. He basically came up with them, and I'll put in some images around. If you have seen Coco, they use the animals towards the end, like there's a big cat creature that flies around. Basically, Pedro, Mr. Linares, he, in the 1930s, he had a really high fever, had a lucid dream, and imagined all these crazy creatures where they were hybrids of each other. So they were like, you know, it would be a fox with wings, or, you know, a bull with chicken legs. I don't know, I'm using really bad examples, but they would be all mixed up, kind of chimera-y type creatures with all these crazy fantastical colours and patterns on them, and when he woke up he would paint them, and thus the movement began. And then later on he made friends with another chap who I cannot remember a name, I'll insert it above my head somewhere, who did the I get my own theme tune. I'll insert his name up here. He would transform Pedro's designs into woodwork, but would actually tone them down a bit so that they weren't as crazy. And then people were using these in their celebrations. So that is like a very, very abridged version of the history and inspiration behind these patterns. Again, go check out Make Me Raw. They are an amazing company. I met her at a craft fair, and she also had an escape room, a crochet inspired escape room based off of a certain ice cream trilogy. And if you do the escape room, you'll get patterns unlocked. It's really fun. So you can do a digital download of that as well. So next up, I'm going to wrap up this little guy, and I'm going to take it to my friend. I really love the bobble stitch around here, and I think if I was to do this again, I would do bobble stitch instead of the French knot on the tail as well. I wanted to get like a texture thing, so it's not just high contrast for babies, but also has a nice texture range as well. The other thing with this is that I wasn't really using the recommended yarn. This guy is made all with the Rikigurumi little tiny balls that you can get of cotton yarn. Someone's having fun over there. So this little guy is made with Rikigurumi little balls of cotton yarn. They're quite expensive, but I use Drops Paris yarn as well, and it's very similar, just a bit bigger. So if I was to do this again with Drops Paris, he'd probably be about this tall. But the Rikigurumi is definitely a lot easier to use than the stuff I used for the body of this guy. So this guy is Drops U, which is 8/4 cotton. I don't know what that means. Essentially, it's a cotton yarn, so it's very similar. Ooh, I'm molting. It's the same kind of cotton yarn that I use for most amigurumi stuff. However, it's much thinner. And I think if I was to do this again, I would probably stick to the rikigurumi, which was the little tiny ball I showed earlier in this video, just to make it easier on myself. It still worked and it still has a nice texture because it's just cotton, but just for my wrist pain and just the consistency of some of the stitches, yeah, that would just be my learning from this. I will definitely be making this pattern again because I absolutely love it. I have some yarn left over from when I made my baby's first blanket, and I know full well she's going to grow out of it very soon, using a white, green, orange and yellow colours. They were like pumpkin colours basically, and I might try and make this guy out of the remaining yarn I have of that, so that he would be orange, yellow and green, which I think will be quite fun. So like a little Halloweeny dude. So maybe I might try and do that with this guy. But yeah, he's so cute how he sits. Look at the little feeties. Look at the little, look, it's so cute. Oh, I'm so pleased with this. I really hope she likes it. So I wrapped up the little fox in this bag, which was a bag I got from one of my craft group for, I think it was for some of the baby stuff, I can't remember, but it's been really useful, and I've been keeping all of the yarn for the project in this, so it's really lovely. I lost the drawstring, but it still works. I'm going to tuck in a few other little goodies, some bookmarks that I made for mum and dad, and I even have a little library card. I even have a little library card on the back of one so that you can keep track of what books that you've read. This is a death head moth that I painted, and some little cute witchy trinkets. So we've got a little mushroom in a bottle, a little bee, and a little frog in a bottle. Show my age, it kind of reminds me of the bonsai cat. And finally a little print of a ladybird. This is a painting I did last year while I was pregnant, trying to use up some art supplies, and yeah, I thought it'd be a nice little gift to have because it's a nice contrast. It's in the colours that babies develop first, so that was the idea behind that. It's all gonna go in this little bag, gift for mum and dad and Bubba. I hope they like it. It's a bit of a longer video this week, so hopefully you've enjoyed it. I upload every Monday morning, and hopefully that helps set up your week to a nice, cozy, crafty vibe. If you like the vibe of these videos, please keep an eye out for me, subscribe, like, leave a comment. I love hearing what you guys are up to, what you're working on, and just feedback on the videos as I'm learning and developing this channel. So enjoy. See you again next week. Bye bye!